gambling. But what is your thoughts just on the culture, man, of canceling, of crying?
And I did find that quote.
Okay.
Which is, tough times create strong men. That quote.
Okay.
Which is, tough times create strong men. Easy time create weak men.
Mm-hmm.
Weak men create tough times.
Tough times again. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You break that down.
Yep.
But that we are devaluing the human experience by putting a cloak over the things that you have to go with to persevere to become a better person. Right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm hiding all of the things that you have to go through to make me a better person, a la the tough times, if I'm always hiding the things that you have to go through to get better, like we talk about, you go to the gym, you're gonna break down the muscle to grow.
Yes, absolutely.
If I only go to the gym for 2 minutes and haven't broken a sweat,
right,
how do I expect any gains?
Right. Yep. I haven't done anything to tear down the muscle tissue.
I shouldn't.
To where it has to repair.
But at the same time, I'm expecting my physique to look like Mr. Olympia.
Right. Yep.
When I haven't even sweated.
Yep.
I think that's one of the things that we're creating with the quote unquote, because a lot of the cancel it's a difference between giving people direction or giving constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I always say, whether people like it or not, we should be able to shame you to greatness.
Yeah, you do always say that. Right.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Right.
Michael Jordan got cut from his basketball team.
Yep.
He felt some kind of way. Mm-hmm. And because of being cut,
yep,
we birthed, arguably, in our opinion and many others, the greatest basketball player of all time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
He had to go through that to become who he was. Mm-hmm. Let's go with Herschel Walker. Regardless how you may feel about his political opinions.
Right. Yeah.
If you read Herschel's book, Herschel was a fat kid that
you can't say fat
look
though.
Here, that he said it, and then that's what it was. We heavy boned it, big boned it, whatever.
Right.
He was big. Yeah. He had a stuttering problem. Herschel became arguably the best conditioned athlete of all time because of the bullying and different things that he had to go through. That's why he was talking about all the thousands of push-ups and sit-ups.
Right, I remember hearing about how many he
started doing because people used to mess with him about his physique. Right.
Yep.
Those tough times created a great man.
Yep.
Regardless, like I said, now.
Yep.
Do I agree with his
political stance?
Absolutely
notwithstanding, but yeah,
his stance about reparations, absolutely not. But I can't argue with the work that man put in to build himself up to who he's became. Mm-hmm. The guy became, after the years of football, started doing martial arts.
Yeah, he's still in great shape.
He started doing mixed. He started doing MMA in his 40s, 50s, and it was winning. Mm-hmm. He had so much discipline. I think he was saying he ate like 1 meal a day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So he got shamed into greatness.
Right. Something to be said about again. Yeah.
So now there's a difference between, like I said, constructive criticism and then somebody just being hurtful, right? We've got to the point that I'm always right regardless.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Regardless, hey, I'm always right. You can't disagree with me.
Right.
And if you disagree with me, then you the op.
Right.
And not because you disagree.
Right.
You the op. We're no different than, like I said, we talk about the United States being the land of the free. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech is going away because, and we talk about different countries. So the U.S. go to different countries that are dictatorship or ran certain ways to try to liberate them.
Right.
But yet and still, we try to remove those freedoms from each other because you don't want to hear what someone else have to say.
Right.
Some of my best friends we're
totally opposed to you. Totally. Polar opposites.
Shout out to Kai.
Our officially unofficial third co-host.
AKA Kobe.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But we grow. We can have different of opinions. The love is still there.
Absolutely.
And the opportunity to grow is always there with every conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, none of us take the opportunity. Well, I'm not going to say no. A lot of us, instead of taking the opportunity to sit there, digest, see things through the other person's lens and try to get something from it and grow from it, we cover our ears up immediately.
Yeah, as soon as we hear something that's contrary to our thinking. So here's the thing, we want to go through life never hearing something that's contrary to. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, it's just how can I evolve, develop, and even cultivate, as we're always talking about, effective relationships with a wide array of people if I'm never willing to hear something that's not the way I think.
Absolutely.
It's no different than Skeens and I. We talk as tight as Skeens and I are, and this is my man, Honey Grain. I mean, it's funny. We used to joke. We're on the other spectrum of each other. He's tall and light skinned. I'm short and dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? But
he's modded. I know.
Polar. But
he's modded. I know.
Polar over here, right? And while we agree on a lot of things, I don't agree on everything. Y'all know how I am about my family, my mama. I don't agree on everything with them. My mama, y'all think I like to debate? My mother will debate you till you just be like, hey, man, I'm about to take a nap, okay? It's over, okay? I'm going to sleep, okay, I'm going to sleep. But that's the beauty of the nuance in life. That's the beauty in the nuance of even in a relationship. Again, I've told y'all 1,000 times, firecracker wife. Laid back, docile dude, but the mix and the balance makes us have this great thing that we're building together, right? You know what I'm saying? So for me, Skeens, I just look at, even we talk about the John Gruden thing, the emails. And again, am I agreeing with what he said in the emails? But does it move my needle? No. And then here's the other part where we also live in a society where I will argue with anybody that is definitely nothing like what our ancestors went through now, right? But also, I am not so ignorant to believe that there are people from the dominant society that are in power positions that in emails, phone calls, texts, private conversations that they're saying wild stuff about minorities. Okay. That's not a shock to me.
Let's do this, right?
Yeah.
They found
over 650,000 emails.
Only John Gruden's
emails. Only John Gruden.
Now
there's coaches, there's executives that's in there, there's whoever.
Now, then they just recently asked Goodell, do you think Snyder was properly punished,
mm-hmm.
or made to deal with the situation? Oh yeah, he dealt enough. So basically. Don't ask us more questions.
Right, exactly.
We took somebody we have somebody who took the sword. Who
absolutely.
The sword for us.
Absolutely.
The rest of this will never come out.
Right, yeah.
Now, let's look at two different things, right? And I'm going to segue into something else in a second. Like I said, I don't agree with what Gruden said, but I also wanted to ask the question of, from a privacy standpoint.
Right.
Who released that information?
Yeah, I'm curious to know that. Right.
Regardless of what he said, I'm talking about your civil liberty, because who's to say that if there wasn't a bust open a lot of DMs?
Come on, man.
There would be a lot of marriages destroyed,
right?
If they go in some DMs.
Yeah, relationships, marriages.
There'll be a lot of pastors that wouldn't be in the pulpit anymore.
Skeens, it would be relationships, it would be friendships,
absolutely,
it would be co-workerships, it would be, you would see that the executives of company, I mean, if we take that, it would be so far reaching.
And the reason why I say that is, right, or just as much as group text,
right? Yeah.
So, and the reason why we know that other people do speak this way, we think John Gruden felt that empowered to speak the way he spoke,
right?
And no one else spoke that way back to him.
Come on.
Now,
man.
If he's sending these messages out,
yeah,
what was the response sent back to him? Right.
Yeah.
Did anybody try to correct him?
Right.
Or was there a LOL sent back with some of his horrible jokes?
Right.
Because for him to make these statements consistently, there was no pushback by no one.
Bruh, some of it though, Skeens, I think they said, they were sending pictures back and forth of topless women or bikini, something to that effect. I'm like,
who else?
I'm like, sounds like part. And here's the other part of it, Skeens, that you and I talked about, and this is holding the mirror of accountability up. How many of us have made jokes and comments about another culture in private to our friends?
Every comedian does it.
And Skeens and the people around, we consider ourselves low-level comedians. So my meter of offense is low.
I'm never offended.
I mean, you gonna have to just be so far out of pocket, because for me, if you're not in my inner sanctum and moving my needle in here, and if you ain't affecting my bread that I'm bringing in to help support my family,
I guess. That's why he said sticks and stones may break my bone, but words will never hurt me.
You know what I'm saying?
But I guess now, according to today's society, our parents and forefathers lied to us.
Right.
But you know what? Let's go with that. Let's talk about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Okay.
Who taught you the value of words?
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So when I say that is, who taught you to love or love yourself? Because when we look at the suicide rates are high, they continue to grow because of social media and things like that.
Yep.
And people talk about the cyberbullying and these different things. Who taught you to love you? Because unfortunately, we laugh about it and different things like that. What is the language that is constantly dispersed within your household?
Yes, sir.
Within the four walls of your family.
Yep.
What words were said to you? Because, and the reason why I say that, because a lot of millionaires, billionaires, different people that own businesses and different things of that such, they talk about their daily affirmations, speaking things to existence, right? How much speaking to existence was done in your house to speak love to you, that you should love yourself? And we're not talking about a standpoint of that you think so much of yourself that you
never think too highly of yourself, right?
But in terms of knowing that you really are worth something, that you're really valuable. Because if you're in your household, if you say, for instance, if your parents didn't see eye to eye, you have the quote unquote, your mother had the baby daddy that she didn't get along with, and she only saw negative in him, she would tell you, "Oh, you ain't shit. You just like your daddy."
Right.
Where is the love, the self-love developed? If you hear these negative talks, these negative words, or you fast just like your mama, you ain't gonna be just like her.
Yep.
If these are the words that are consistently uttered within the walls of your house, at what point in time do you turn that lens on to saying, "Oh, I love myself"?
Right.
Because it becomes a generational thing. And the reason why I talk about this is, who spends the most money on the most fashionable things to look away? It's us. But what's
we're replacing?
Yes, but what's the language that is dispersed in a lot of households? Is not always the most loving language.
Right.
So we compensate buying things because of the lack of the love that several of us don't get. So we go spend. They say spend the spitting therapy, whatever.
Yeah, retail therapy. Yeah.
A lot of us.
My wife used that as an excuse a lot.
A lot of us use that because we retail because nobody retold us the fact that they loved us.
Right. And I think
or reiterate.
I want to respond to that, but I think too, because going back to relationships, the family dynamic has been eroded so much, is the reason that we put so much stock into social media And our feelings, because we weren't grounded and set at home, we wrap so much of our feelings up into what people are saying out here in this fake world.
That, as I told my niece when she graduated high school,
go ahead. I know
you
what you're
would
saying.
never see 95% of these people ever again, other than the homecoming.
Yeah.
Maybe some class reunions that's every 10 to 20 something years. If you dare to show up.
Yeah.
You're trying to look and be something that for people that mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
That will never mean anything to you. Not saying it in a bad way or diminishing way or talking down to people.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of in your day to day, when you're doing what's best for you and your household, your family, your inner sanctum, friends, you won't see these people and you're trying to, or you say IG, right? Or Facebook, whatever. It's millions of people, probably billions on these different sites. You're trying to look and say and be a certain way for these people that you would never meet 99.99992% of.
Yeah.
But you're trying to impress these people.
Yes.
And you put in people are basically tormenting themselves to look the part, to be the part, to dress the part, going in debt and all those different things to get the butt lifts and buying stuff, furniture and clothing that you can't afford. To look a certain way for people that mean nothing to you. Right. And you don't mean nothing to them. So basically, it is basically paper money that with no value.
Yep. Absolutely. Diminishing returns on investment. Diminishing.
At all. So, and as I said, and the fact of, if the guys aren't told that they love that they're loved by their parents, how can he truly love a woman?
There you go.
If he can't really love himself, he's never known enough about himself to or been told that he was good enough. If I've never been told I'm good enough, a lot of my jumping from relationship to relationship or from bed to bed is because I got to get in and out before they realize that I ain't ish like I've been told my entire life.
Yeah. And to answer your question too, Skeen, you know my household pretty well. Both, of course, here and then, how I was raised. I was affirmed. I was shown a lot of love. Your mother treated me like her own. You know what I'm saying? My mama did. My mama still tell me, she said, baby, sweetie, before you came, Mario was my first baby. You know what I'm saying? So we were shown a lot of love.
And blessed.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are a minority
within
that. And the reason why I say that, because based off a lot of the conversation that we've had with other people, you realize what you thought was the norm.
Yeah, it was not.
It was not.
Not at all. And in my household now, even when my children were born, my in-laws, to an extent, weren't quite on the same spectrum as my parents were with the lovey, kind of stuff. But it's just funny how things change and how the God in things, when my children came, it opened up another door even with them of how they love and their openness and how all of our families blended together. But Skeens, he's checking on my boys, and he kisses and hugs on Jason and all that kind of stuff. And even in my prayer with my children at night, I talk about that I want us to have a family that's that we're continuing to grow in love, understanding, and communication with one another. You know what I mean? So that's the type of environment I try to foster, and I try to foster that same type of environment in my workspace, and even the young men I mentor at church and different things like that. I'm trying to do that same thing because I think, here these days we got to preface ourselves a little bit. Are there some things that people are doing today? Are there some things that people are doing today?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
right. There's words. And for me and Skeens, one of our biggest things is we look at action. What actions can we say that somebody has done? So there are things that are done with malintent, But I think the overall idea that we're trying to convey is, again, let's try to solidify our households. Let's try to establish loving environments in our home so that and once you make that infrastructure and once you make that force field, so to speak, those bullets that are coming out here from this fake alternate reality of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and whatever else, that stuff ricochets off because it's not real.
Yeah. And then when once it's done, we create a new community.
There you go.
So, we spoke about the way guys are. If they were taught the correct way. They learn how to love themselves, but also, if you learn how to love yourself the correct way, you can show a woman how she should be loved. Or if her household was it was reinforced through the household, she then will understand what it means to truly be loved and not hop from bed to bed herself.
There you go.
In the pursuit of and then you're thinking that, hey, I have to have a transactional relationship for someone to find value in me.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And then as we continue to move, now if I love myself, I would now learn how to love you as my brother. And I'm not looking at you as the ops. I'm just looking at you, my brother. Hey, we can agree to disagree. You're still my brother. I don't have to shoot you.
Right.
I don't have to go out here and
Good
hop
point.
on the gram talking about, send the addy.
Right. That whole
if I'm sending the addy, it's for us to talk.
It's the pull up, and the pull up is for us to piece it up and talk.
Yes. The pull up
to break bread.
The pull up should lead to the
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But instead, the pull up is leading to us pulling triggers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people we're losing a lot of lives, a lot of young people before they ever had the opportunity to grow and become something different. Right? Look at Malcolm. Yep. He had the opportunity from being Detroit Red. He had the opportunity to become Malcolm X.
Yep. To evolve. Yeah.
Many of these kids are not getting the opportunity to become.
We're not even making it past, because here's the other point too. There's a lot of things that Skeens and I both have done and experienced in situations we've been in that could have went.
Yes.
And if it went that way, you wouldn't be able to get to this point of being in our 40s and be evolved people. You know what I'm saying? And because, again, we're canceling people both in our actions, how we do it, even when it comes to physicality and shooting, unfortunately. And then we're also, even when it comes to physicality and shooting, unfortunately. And then we're also back in 2008. Here we are on the doorstep of 2022. And we're like, well, I'm through. We got to give people the space to evolve and grow.
And also, like, because you got to ask, what is the corrective action that person has taken upon themselves to be a better person?
Absolutely.
Now, if I am who I used to be, I'm not, in the words of Scoop, every day I evolve. I'm not evolving daily.
Shout out. Yeah.
If I'm still that guy I used to be.
Right.
But if I did the work and I became this new person, and I'm also trying to bring other people into this newfound reality, which I see, and tell you, hey, don't go throughout what I did. The pitfalls I've went through it. Jay-Z, Hov did that, so hopefully you have to go through that.
Yep.
I'm going through Hov did that, so hopefully you have to go through that.
Yep.
I'm going through pull up my old records now. Now, who does that say more about? The person who's actively looking for your downfall, or the person that did it, but I've grown to be a better person.
Yep. And I think too, just to put a button on this kind of. What do you say?
And saying that, like, for example, you talking about the Dave Chappelle situation.
Oh yeah, I was going to go back to that. Good,
one of the lead people that was talking about we should cancel Dave, this and that. The black trans that worked at trans woman, or I don't know. I don't know what the
trans man. I think is
how that person identifies himself. Well, they talked about Dave and how he should be canceled and this and that. Well, part of that finger pointing, oh, they doubled back and found the stuff that person was talking about Asian people. And it wasn't just one tweet. It was consistent talking about how you hated people. You should do this and that. So, and I say that to say that none of us are perfect.
Yep.
Every one of us have a past. We all have shortcomings. Now, did Dave go out? Was it malicious? No. He was trying to compare the struggles of two people, of two communities,
marginalized communities,
and showing the struggles that we both are trying to overcome to get to a better place.
Absolutely.
But yet and still, your tweets wasn't about that. You tweeted hatred consistently, and then instead of owning it, consistently, and then instead of owning it, now, but you want that grace and mercy to be shown to you.
There you go.
But yet and still, you refuse to show that same type of grace to Dave.
There you go.
Because you came with your hands over your ears. You didn't go Dave.
There you go.
Because you came with your hands over your ears. You didn't go from an opposing standpoint. And if you go somewhere, your mind is already made up. You won't be convinced. There's one quote, I forgot the correct phrasing of it. Convince a man against his will is not convinced still.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if that person
I got you.
They're already there.
Yeah.
You can't, regardless of what you say and how many facts that you come with, it doesn't matter. But then let's go to the Ben Simmons situation too. Because you got me with this Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the hurtfulness and different things, right? Ben, I pray that he really did have mental health situations, but same time, I hope if so, he's taking the corrective actions necessary to fix his mental well-being.
Right.
Only thing I know that Ben didn't say anything about his mental health until they told him we wasn't cutting the check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed convenient.
Because all summer, you never heard anything.
Mm-hmm.
They went to go visit Ben. Ben told them, I'll play anywhere but here.
Mm-hmm.
Ben said, I don't care to talk to y'all. You flying out here for no reason.
Yep.
They said, we're not cutting the check. Ben showed up with his iPhone in his pocket at practice.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if he's lying, you are doing detrimental harm to a community of people who really are really dealing with mental health issues.
Yeah.
And part of our statement has always been everybody from the hood got some form of PTSD.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ben is not Dad used to play basketball and stuff. Ben's pretty much lived a privileged life.
Yep.
To play basketball and stuff. Ben's pretty much lived a privileged life.
Yep.
But frontline employees dealing with a whole lot on a day-to-day, making little to no money.
Yeah.
And a table full of shut-off notice.
Yes.
And
so that's what about it, Skeens, which is the challenge for me. You guys, I don't know what the answer is, but just being open and honest, where's the line at, man? Because we can just mask anything with that. You can just, it's like a car. You can just put, oh man, I'm going through some mental health challenges,
and
man.
if you use that car, it's the big joker. So you can't ask a question, because as soon as they say that, oh, I got mental health, you can't ask a question whether that person is telling the truth or not.
Right.
I got to believe you at your own word. And if I ask you anything now, people are saying that I'm badgering you, or I'm trying to shame you for asking a question, right?
Yeah.
But part of Ben saying that he didn't want to be there because what Doc said, that when they asked Doc a real question, he said, hey, do you think that Ben is a championship point guard? Doc said, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that right now.
Now, Doc wasn't lying, because has he won a championship with you?
No.
Yet? No. Have you won a championship before Doc got there? No. Also, Doc has been, was going to back
riding for that young man
all year, to the point that people were laughing at Doc.
Yes.
NBA analysts was busting Doc head every day. When he was going out of his way to defend Ben.
Yep.
And people say, well, athletes are fragile. Well, the coach is just as fragile. Now,
because they'll get you up out of there.
Because now the thing is this, right? That showed how much Ben cared about Doc. Because you didn't apologize. Hey, you didn't say, hey, I apologize, Doc. You've been riding for me all year.
All year.
And I failed you. Yep. I'm going to take this on my shoulders and say, you know what? I owe you.
Yep.
For all that you did for me.
Yep.
The one time Doc said, I don't know. Now you talking about your feelings hurt.
Now, here's my thing, though. Again, Skeens, as we're talking about building a community that's showing love by way of communicating. If Doc is my coach and I feel like he said something out of pocket in the press, you know what I'm going to do? You know what Skeens is going to do? Or, you know, how, hey, Doc, man, seen the press conference, man, let's sit down or come by the house.
Bro, it was a couple of days later, Doc was cleaning up. He was saying, hey, he was saying they took his words out of context. Regardless, even if Doc was lying, but the fact that he tried to clean it up.
He did.
But also, as a man, be a man. Have a conversation.
Have a conversation with him.
Hey, I can say I agree or disagree with your assessment.
Yep.
We can shake hands, whatever, fight, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
But also own the fact that hey, I didn't hold up my end of the bargain.
That's the part. That's my challenge. So, guys, it's like this. Doc, coach, boss, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a certain expectation that they have for you to meet at work. Right? Mm-hmm. You don't meet the expectation.
But you want the whole check.
And they talk about how the expectation wasn't met instead of me saying, okay, let me evaluate this from a clear level position. You know what? I didn't meet the expectation. I didn't meet the standard. Here's how I need to go back to the drawing board. Here's at work what I need to do to get better. Time management, whatever. Make sure I'm up on my training, whatever. As a basketball player, hey, I need to work on some shooting drills. I need to make sure that I'm really putting in some work this offseason. I need it. Instead of saying that, I'm like, nah, I'm mad at the messenger. And here's the other thing. Skeens that I always say. Anybody can get it. Absolutely. As far as we talking about the council and all that stuff, anybody can be critiqued. Mm-hmm. Anybody can be joked about. We clown everybody anybody in this family gets it.
If I talk about my mama, and I'm a mama's boy, I would talk about any and everybody.
Me and my mom and dad get on the phone and crack jokes. I crack jokes on my wife. I say jokes about culture, about Asian culture, about Black culture, about Hispanic culture, about straight up from the motherland, African culture. I talk about it all because there are cultural nuances about us and differences that are funny.
And guess what? Also, all these cultures are part of our circle.
All of them.
They are all our family members. Whether we're talking about blood or not, they are
all of them.
I said your wedding picture is the United Nations.
Yes.
It's the perfect blend because we got everything.
Everything is pretty much up there. Everything is up there.
That is our circle.
That's our circle. So everybody can get it. And you never get to a point. You try not to get to here's a recommendation. Try not to get to that point where you take yourself so seriously. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about this, how you were, this passage popped in my head is Romans 12:2. And the King James verse says, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then they got I think we'll close with this like this. The New Living Translation says it this way. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Y'all, don't get caught up in this lie of the currency of social media. It's diminishing returns on investment. It is. It's like you watching your stocks. If y'all got stocks and investment, the social media and the cancel offended, I'm in my feelings, it's diminishing returns. These soft times have created soft people. It's time for us to toughen back up and fortify the infrastructure of our household and the family unit. Now, when I offend you, hit me on my line.
Let's talk about it.
DM me. Call me. So we can sit down as brothers and sisters and say, okay, this is my position. This is your position. Mm-hmm. And most times you're going to say, man, you know, I didn't even mean to come off to you like that, man. And here's the other part. When the offense, because offenses will happen.
Always.
Offense is going to happen. Here's where we, as the person that's doing the offending, a lot of times we know that we didn't got into somebody's feelings. Mm-hmm. I had a situation where I offended somebody. I reached out via text, phone call, message on social media, no response. Yep. You know, and what can I do? But once I offend you and we sit down and have the conversation, here's the key, guys. Don't pull yourself out of it and say, hey, I apologize if I offended you. No. You know you offended. So I apologize for offending you.
Unfortunately, this is where we differ a little bit. So, my thing is this, right? Also, a little bit. So, my thing is this, right? Also, but if I've offended you, right?
Go ahead.
And if you know me, mm-hmm. hit me on my line.
Yeah, hit my line. Yeah.
If you don't hit me,
right,
and you go around me and you go talk to other
people.
Yeah,
I give you. I'm agree with you. I agree with that.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't respect it.
I got you. I agree.
No circumstance.
If you ain't come to me, I got you. I got you. Yeah.
But you talk about me or the offense to someone else when you know that we can have that conversation. I don't respect it. I'm not apologizing.
I got you.
Because you didn't want to have that dialogue.
Right. I got you.
So.
Okay, I give you that.
Look, don't respect. I'm going to tell you to your face. Look, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Now, when we talk about the offended, I can apologize for my offense, right? Yeah. But we can still disagree.
Well, that's the thing about it. Yeah,
for sure. Offending you.
Yes, absolutely.
Just because I'm apologizing for offending
don't
you,
mean
I change my
the
opinion.
Apology does not mean that I have to agree.
It's just me having empathy for your feelings.
Yes.
But that don't mean I switched. No. I switched up.
I still disagree. I apologize, but I still disagree. We don't agree on that. Now let's go get a sandwich.
I did not switch with Southpaw.
Yes.
I'm still orthodox with my stance.
Yes. I still disagree with you.
But I love you.
Let's go to Jersey Mike's.
There we go.
We're going to get the joint with the extra vinegar. And
the number 9.
Number 9.
Jersey Mike, holler at us, man. Holler at us.
So anyway, y'all, so just sit back, ask yourself the questions, man. How do you feel about cancel culture? How do you feel about this uber offended society that we live in? Is it, us just living in our truth and not, living in trauma anymore? Are me and Skeens totally off balance, totally off base? And what type of environment of love are you setting in your household? Husbands and wives, the children, your mother, your father, your cousins, nieces, nephews, brothers. Are we setting loving environments, and not just loving environments? Because we'll get into that another time, but there's different forms. But we ain't talking about just
monetary.
We ain't talking about just, monetary. We're not just talking about just because, I cooked the food for you. But are we sitting down and actually practicing words of love and care for one another? But anyway, it's been another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never, ever will be seen, Skeens.
Never, ever.
And we will holler at y'all next time.
Peace.
Hey.